Hello, Tej, and welcome to Film Companion South.
Thank you.
All right, so you've got this. You're going to go down in the record books, I think, because yours is the first film, the film that's going to hit theaters, Telugu film that's going to hit theaters post the pandemic, right? What's it like? What's the feeling? It's Solo Bratike So Better.
Yeah,
Uh, what's it like? Do you think did you guys think hard about this decision? Because we don't know yet how people are going to, come to theaters and things like that.
yeah. We didn't think much because we actually sold it to an OTT platform, but we had a clause with them saying that if at all the theaters are opening, we would like to have a theatrical release
Okay.
because that will definitely be a huge helpful for everybody from the top of the food chain to the bottom of the food chain, in the sense like the producers, distributors, and the exhibitors. Everybody should have some sort of livelihood. So we thought of that, and then the moment the theaters have opened, the Geo came down. We were really hopeful that the Z5 guys will actually give in to releasing it in theaters, and they have actually been very, very helpful, and they have been very, very cooperative, and they gave into a theatrical release. And we had a lot of discussions on how to take this forward and how to take it into the people, and we all thought. So the moment we started interacting with a lot of the audience, common audience, they were like they were waiting for some sort of movement from the film industry for the theaters to open, and that instilled a lot of confidence in us in releasing a film into the theaters. So the moment we had those interactions with the distributors and exhibitors and the audience, so I was like kicked about it, and I was like, come on, let's get into the bandwagon and release the film in this heat, so that people would definitely want to come out. And also with the kind of strict lockdown for the past 8 months, people have not been able to come out.
Right.
And even though they're coming out, they don't have any sort of entertainment.
Right.
So maximum is like they having like have to watch a film on the TV, and that's about it. So I was like, okay, fine, let's give them some entertainment. I thought, and then we all came together. Everyone helped. Everyone chipped in, and now we decided to come into the theaters.
So this is an entertainer, right? It's not one of those films where everybody dies at the end and all that, right?
No, 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 no. Completely, it's a very good rom-com with a lot of family entertainment where people from the family can come and watch it for sure.
Right. Because I was like, people come to the theater and then it's like one of those tragedies and everybody, no, it's not that.
I
It's a
think we
fun.
had enough tragedy of 1 year getting lost.
Okay.
So we don't want to put the audience in any more
Okay.
any more of tragedy.
Okay. Now, Tej, you've had an unusual career, if I can say that. It's almost like, it's one of those, mythological movies where, God keeps testing somebody to make sure that they're worth it. It's like, the kind of film I'm talking about, right?
Yeah,
It's
yeah, I
like
get it, I get it.
your first film, you sign a film, financial issues happen, then you start something else, there's an actor who dies, he has to be replaced, then you finally make it in 2019 with like a Chitra Lahiri, which is, people say, wow, this guy can act and he's doing some good stuff. And then you have the Pratiroju Pandage, and that's like, a success. And then when the momentum is just kind of picking up, COVID happens. So have you ever thought about, like, is this someone like, up there testing you and saying, okay, this guy, I need to make sure that he passes all these.
Yeah, I prefer to think of it like I'm God's favorite child.
Okay.
So that he has got every right to poke me and he test me and all that.
Okay.
No, but keeping on the aside, if everything goes really smoothly, and if you and everything happens like that, I don't see that there's no entertainment for me. Also, I like life as in drama happens only when there is a lot of like a lot of hurdles. So these kind of things actually shows that how much metal do you have, how much strength do you have, how much grit do you have.
Okay.
There's basically one more thing called jigger. You want that. You really want it, then you'll fight for it.
Right.
If you have so much of fire, passion within you to reach where you want to, you will actually fight for it. You'll go to any sort of limits, and you'll go to any sort of extent for you to achieve it. So I kind of feel that God is making sure that I have it in me to get what I really want. He has been testing me, yes, of course, but I'm really thankful for those tests, because it shows it shows that I need to have little bit more to achieve what I need. So I really like my journey, and I'm really happy that I have a very good ups and downs in my life rather than actually just like flatline.
Okay. Yeah, but sometimes you want it to stop, right? Sometimes you're just like, oh God, it's enough. Like, let's just get ahead with some kind of a steady career. Has that thought ever happened to you? Have you found yourself mentally in one of the scenes where you look up at the sky and say, enough, like.
Well, I have obviously, because that's how any human being would be.
Right.
And they're like, enough. I like, how long do you want? That was like in my first. What happened was, like, as you said, my first film was financially struck, and the second film just signed. The actor had to be replaced because he passed away. So that moment, and actually a fan called me and he said, he's one of my Chiranjeevi Garu's fan. He called me and he's like, "Sir, what you've done is enough. So I think it's time that you retire and you take a break and don't continue into acting."
Wow.
So I was taken aback. I was like, okay.
This
So I
is
thought, okay.
after the release of the films.
No, before the release of the film.
He's saying what you've done is enough.
Yeah, what you've done is enough, because because such a bad luck, bad omen, because none of my films are doing, and people are talking different stuff and saying that he's a huge iron leg and he can't do a film with him and all that.
Okay.
Because if anything happens, then there's always an issue that's going to happen. So people started calling me different names, and like, okay.
So like they said, you're like a bad luck charm.
Bad omen. Yeah, bad luck. Yeah, bad luck. So, so I said, okay. So I told him, sir, I've anyway started these two films. Let me finish them. And if you still think that I'm not worthy of it, then I'll definitely take a step back. So after that, a few months later, my first film released. The same guy called me and he's like, "I'm sorry for what I've said. I think you have done a great job, and we would like to see you continue in this field." I was like, "Thank you, sir. I hope that I haven't disappointed you." So these things actually kept me going. They actually gave me a little more extra fire to reach where I am right now.
Okay. So let me get this right. This is Chiranjeevi's fan, and he somehow like calls you.
Yeah, he got my numbers from someone, and then this is what happened.
Okay, that's that's a little strange, but yeah.
Yeah, it's strange, but that's the truth. So, people will be like that. They'll be like, "You've done enough."
Right. There's no, you know that you're coming from this family, right? Are there people who kind of want to see the family, go from generation to generation? Are there fans who say, I'm first Chiranjeevi's fans, and then I'm next generation fan, and then I continue? Is that how it happens, or?
No, it's not like that. So basically, how right now it's not like that.
Okay.
Maybe it was like that before, but right now it's become like whoever has got the talent, whoever is able to entertain them and give them good stuff to watch. I think they are like shifting, and depending upon the success, it comes to that. So I think talent and hard work, if you have these two, I think definitely, of course, luck to a matter of like 5%. So these three together will actually give you what you really desire. So any sort of success or any sort of platform that you want to reach to, or any other stage that you want to reach to.
Well, I find it very interesting that you say 5% luck.
That is actually a major percent, but that 5% of luck is what pushes you to where you have to go.
Okay, all right.
No, basically, if you don't have talent and if you're not hardworking,
right,
and luck will not be a huge factor for you.
Yeah, you make your own destiny, kind of thing. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Now, when you started out with a setback, those days, how did you look at those days back then, and how do you look back at those days from today's perspective?
Okay, so for my first film to release from the production stage to the release, it was like 5 years.
Yeah.
So in those 5 years, I've learned how valuable time is.
Okay.
My brother was in his 10th grade when I started the film, and he graduated by the time I released my first film. So that's almost like a lifetime for a student from being in his +1, +2, degree first year, second year, third year. So it's almost a huge part of a person's life.
Yeah.
So in those 5 years, I realized that I've lost a lot of time. At the same time, it taught me how much I have to value time, because I'll not get those 5 years back. But what I have learned will actually give me 5 years ahead of time. So I made sure that I worked double the time. I worked really hard. I made sure that I actually had very good releases by the time I finished a couple of films and all that. Yes, in the meanwhile, I had a few misjudgments and I had a lot of miscalculated moves which I made. But still, those were also learning experience in what I am right now. So looking back right now from this perspective, I think I've learned a lot.
Okay.
I've matured as a person. There's a lot of experience which speaks right now. So I usually am not this quiet or I'm not this silent. I'm usually a very, very wild, a very live wire person. But these experiences have taught me to calm down. These
Okay.
experiences have taught me to listen more, to be silent, and then let your work talk, let that talk rather than actually you talk. So these 10 years have been a great learning experience for me. So it got me to be a better person right now.
So everybody
That's what I
says
say.
learning experience, right? So that's a generic term. When you specify, when you make it more specific, you would say things like patience. That would be the learning.
See, patience is something which will always be tested all the time.
Right. Right.
In terms of your career, in terms of your personal life, in terms of your professional life. So that's always there. So what, in terms of learning experience, I mean to say that the way you choose a particular script, the way you look at it, the way you actually cut it down into pieces, and then you actually see each detail.
Right.
So you make sure that you're going on a perfect line, or you're going in the right space, or are you in the right space, or is it going in the right way? So you have a perfect thought process of seeing in those details. So that's what I mean to say in terms of learning experience in my career wise, in selecting scripts and in the way you actually see how people are working. See, basically what we have done from Chitra Lahari to Solo Batke So Better is the kind of prep that we have been doing.
Right.
We've been like intensely working with the directors and with the production team and making sure that everything is planned properly. So we're doing a lot of pre-production
Right.
before we start get into the production phase and then going into the post-production. So making sure that we are doing all these stuff. Yeah, and so that's where we've been actually working towards, and that's the learning curve that we had for the past 10 years.
Now you've done a couple of films with very established and very big filmmakers, and they didn't really work out. Now, success and failure, everybody has them. But today, if you look back at those scripts, would you kind of consider them, or would you have discussions with the directors and say, maybe we could look at this, maybe we could look at that? How would you look at those scripts today?
So those films, I've actually had. My gut was telling me, dude, not working, just come out of it. But then by the time I already gave my commitment, I'll be doing the film, and
Right.
there are a lot of people who come on board, and there's so much happening. So
Right.
there were so many moments where I had the opportunity of coming out of the film. But I thought once I gave my commitment, it's not right on my part ethically.
Right.
I need to stick to that. And I thought, okay, fine, let me go ahead with it. Whatever the result is, let me take it in. Let me sink it in. I'll learn something out of it. I'll see some experience. I'll get some experience out of it. So those 6 films of mine which didn't do well, they taught me how to say no to a
Okay.
script, to a director, to a producer. When they're actually trying to shove themselves or they're trying to weigh themselves onto me, I'm trying to say like, it's okay. Get me a good script. If I like it, then I'll go ahead. Until and unless then, I'm not going ahead, not even an inch forward.
But how do
So
you say
that has,
no?
like literally, no, I don't like the script.
That's it.
Yeah,
So,
I'm not.
so
Yeah, see, that's if at all they ask me why. I said with my kind of experience, I already have 6 backlogs, so I do know. I know better. So please don't force me into this. If I don't like it, I'm not doing.
okay, so I'm going to
So
throw this
that,
this
yeah,
hypothetical question at you, which is going to come
yeah,
at
yeah,
you like a
please.
ton of bricks. And it's like,
I know.
so SS Rajamouli comes to you tomorrow and says, here's a script.
Yeah.
And, you're like reading the script and okay, what, I'm not sure this is going to work. What's your thinking? Is it,
I would definitely have a discussion with him and saying that, sir, these are the points where I kind of feel that there is some work or there's something that needs to be done.
right?
I would like to get it to your notice. Maybe you would have missed it and all that. I would definitely get a discussion on. Even if then it's not working out, then it's not my cup of tea. I'll definitely say, sir, I'm excited to be working with you, but not for this script, maybe another one. I'll be
No,
very honest.
yeah, yeah. I mean, and I appreciate the answer because see, the thing is also that I feel that sometimes when actors are not convinced, then that shows on screen.
Yeah.
That you really as a viewer you can make out that this person is just going through the motions. They can't put
Yeah.
themselves into that role. And so, as an actor, when Chitra Lahiri happened and you got all that appreciation, right? I'm sure it felt good. But what I'm trying to ask you is, uh, would you rather be known as an actor or as a star? If there was an either or situation, which would you
Okay.
choose?
I would definitely like to be known as a star who can act.
Well, it's an either-or question. I'm telling you. So
Oh, either. So then I would rather be known as a. Well, it's a tough question actually. Probably an actor,
okay,
because that's more of what I really want to do, went from the bottom of my heart.
right.
Because the actor might really get the kind of recognition, but it'll slow.
Okay.
Anyway, my life is not going any further, so any faster. So I rather take it slow. I definitely take it whenever the time is right.
I also ask this question because right now, during the pandemic, maybe even a couple of years before, but especially during the pandemic, people who are actors have gotten recognition through releases that happened on OTT.
Yeah,
They
that's
they
true.
and their films. I've spoken to some producers and distributors, and they all say that had these films released in theaters, by the time people got to know that they were good films, they would have probably been out of theaters.
Yeah,
So
true.
it actually was a boon that these people were at the right place at the right time, and they got
Yeah,
noticed through OTT.
that
Do
was
you
very
see
true.
yourself as somebody who might explore those options at some point, or is theatrical very important to you? Because again, we are coming back to the fact that you are going to star in the first Telugu movie being released theatrically after the pandemic.
Yeah.
So yeah,
So I would like to answer the question that you asked me earlier, right, about the actor or the assistant. So if you see Chiranjeevi Garu's his career, his 60-second film was Kaidi, which
right.
got him the superstardom. So for those 61 films, he was an actor. So there'll be one film which will get him into the stardom. So I think that I still have the time.
Okay.
Maybe my number might come a little early, my number will come a little late, but definitely my number will come. मेरा number आएगा. So that's one thing. So I kind of believe in destiny. Whatever it has planned, I'm sure that it will definitely get me to the right place, right time, right moment, and give me the right opportunity.
But tell me one thing, that was a very different era, right?
Mhm.
Heroes did multiple films. They did 6, 7, 8 films a year. And so, you can reach 60 films fairly quickly. Now you guys are doing one film at a time. That's a long wait. I'm not saying the exact number 60, but I'm just saying,
Exactly, that's what I'm
is
saying.
that
Yeah.
a right comparison is what I'm trying to ask.
I'm not trying to say it's a comparison. I'm just trying to say that even the man who's been working really hard,
Yeah, sure.
he got it in his
Right.
60-second film now. So I'm sure that whenever the right time is, I'll definitely get my due, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
I'm not
Okay.
comparing myself
Right.
to him
No, no,
because
no,
he's
no,
a
not
Devi.
that kind of
Yeah,
comparison.
yeah,
Right, right. I'm not even getting there. So,
yeah. I'm just trying to clear this thing. Yeah,
yeah. I know,
that's okay.
we don't want like comments to kind of reflect,
I,
oh my God, that's what happening here at all.
yeah,
So,
there's no lot of times that is misquoted
right,
actually.
really? Okay. But are there
Uh,
times you felt like, I mean, I'm sure you love your uncles and all that, the familial, I'm not talking about the personal aspect of it, right? But I'm talking purely professionally. Have you felt that, sometimes you wish you had been born in a non like lineage kind of family so that, you wouldn't have this baggage on your back and people would just like look at you and say, okay, this is Sai Dharam and I'm going to evaluate just him, like I'm not going to evaluate him like with his uncles and nephews and sorry, cousins and all that kind of stuff, that baggage.
Actually, I'm really lucky in that way to be born in this family because, in a way, it's a boon. Because whatever has happened in my entire life, they've been a very integral part.
Right.
They supported me throughout my education, throughout my life, to where I am today. So I'm really, really blessed to have them in my life. And career-wise, in a way, I think it's given me even more a stronger point for me to achieve success or to reach where I am or where I want to.
Okay.
So they've actually pushed me a little bit further. They said, "Is that it? You got throw in your best punch." Like so, it gave me more motivation. It gave me more responsibility. It taught me a lot more of virtue and patience and everything. So those are the things which I always look at, rather than actually people trying to compare me and see
Right.
that and this. I kind of feel that even if you're not from a family lineage, people will compare you with other actors. That's
Okay.
how people are. So I kind of felt that maybe I should focus only on the positives and think that whatever it is, let me take it one stride at a time and make sure that I give it my best.
Right.
And coming to the question that you asked me whether the OTT or this one, do I want to explore or not? I definitely would love to explore some OTT content. So depending upon the kind of script that I get, if it really impresses me, I'm sure I would definitely not look back and definitely get into it. But the only thing which is holding me at this point of time is because I always believe that theater is a much more bigger platform to
Sure.
reach out to people and give them a lot of entertainment. And people, not everyone can look into their phones and start and see an OTT or something of the sort. They have to buy a subscription. It's rather that I reach to the wider audience and definitely reach to their level. And yes, at the same time, OTT is also a worldwide platform for you to show reach for your content to reach different places, different countries. So I definitely would love to explore that option as well. But for now, my main stream thing is for the theaters.
Which would you say was your first proper hit?
Subramaniam for Sale was a proper hit, where the film did really well. The producers got its money, his profits. At the same time, people really saw the film and they loved my acting and they loved the performances of everyone in the film and they really enjoyed it thoroughly. So that's my first proper hit in my career. With my first film, it gave me an acceptance in the audience.
Right.
So that and my first hit is Subramaniam for Sale for sure.
So when you went to the theater and saw yourself being accepted, what was that like? Was there like a feeling of finally, oh my God, it's happened?
Oh yeah, that day I still remember like it was yesterday. The first day I went to the theater, people were like howling and they were like shouting and they're calling out my name and all that. The moment my face came onto the screen, I couldn't see my face. I was like, what? It was like covered with papers, people throwing and all that.
Okay.
And after that, I couldn't see the screen still. I couldn't see my face still because my eyes were smudged with tears, looking at the way they have received me and they've accepted me. That gave me a lot of happiness. That's one moment which I can never forget in my life. That moment I'll cherish throughout my life, and I'll always be thankful to God, and I'll always be grateful for everyone who's been supporting me throughout my career.
Now, when you get to Solo Bratuke so better, you had this interesting marketing campaign, right? Where you called on actors who got married recently and then said, "Oh my God, you guys ditched me and now I'm on this side." And this, who planned that campaign?
Me and my executive producer, we've been from Chitralari. We changed the way we promote our films.
Right.
So we thought like let's go with the movie theme based film promotions. So for Chitralari, it was about a failure, about a loser, how he got successful. So we picked on to people who were actually failing, and how they saw success.
Right.
So we picked on that. And then when it came to Pratiroj Pandekar, was more like a family entertainer. So we included a lot of family members to involve into it. And we had a lot of family-based programs for it to be reached to people. And when it came to this, we thought that this film has got a very universal appeal about being single is the best thing in life. So we picked on to people and we picked at actors and other people and
Like
trying to say that
Nitin and Rana and all.
Nitin, Nikhil, Rana, everyone who got married recently, like, dude, what is this happening? And it was quite a lot of reach that we got with those promotions, and it was very, very nice. And people, I would really like to thank Rana and Nitin and Nikhil for actually contributing in from their end. And Rana actually starred in one of the songs, and Varun, my cousin, he also starred in one of the songs. And Nitin was the one who launched that song. So it was kind of a very, very good, well packaged way to promote our film. And I really like the way the industry is coming up and they're doing their bit to promote the film.
Now, this was done for a marketing exercise, right? But then the same thing backfires sometimes when, like, an interview, a journalist asked about your mother's personal life, and then you get asked about your personal life quite a bit, the whole, who are you seeing, what's happening, when I get married, all that kind of stuff. How do you process this kind of stuff when it happens to you?
Actually, I like to keep it very open. If I'm dating someone, I'll be open about it. I'll be dating someone. If I'm not dating someone, I'll be very open about it as well.
Right.
So people kind of, they have that. And also I give them that freedom to ask me those questions. I was like, okay, fine. What do you want to ask? You want to ask about my personal life? Yeah, I'm not dating anyone. Okay, fine. I'm dating someone. So it's just like a matter of question, but that answer has to go through in such a way that nobody gets hurt.
Right.
At the same time, it has to suffice their desires of the question. They have a lot of things behind that question, so there'll be like a lot of pressure from their producers. Some people will be like, "Dude, we need to get this answer out this in this interview and all that." I'm like, so I'll be like, "Okay, fine. What do you want? Okay, you want to know about my marriage? No, I'm not getting married. Oh, you want to know whether I'm dating someone? No, I'm not dating anyone." Okay, that's it. It's something like it's very easily which I can actually close.
You know what I
Another
should do?
answer.
I should just put the blame on my producer Anupama Chopra and say, like she asked me to ask you.
The moment you had a smirk on your face, I got like, okay, this question is coming right now.
No. I would not ask that question, but I was just like, when you said my producer asked me to ask you, I was just like, oh my God, let's put this blame on Anu and ask him this question and get a thumbnail and says, finally, he admits to whatever.
Yeah.
No, but I'm just saying it's such a strange life. You live in this goldfish bowl, and people assume because they think you're familiar, they just think everything is taken for granted. But still, I would say that lives of your family members are a little not. Yeah, I wouldn't. That would be still out of bounds. It's like. But I think you did take it quite well and answered something that need not have been answered. You kind of
I could have just said it's very personal question.
very personal. Yeah. But I think that kind of changed the way people also looked at you. So the
basically, I didn't want to be that rude fellow who actually doesn't want to answer any question. I just thought, okay, fine. What do you want to know? This. Okay, fine. This is the answer. Yeah, my parents got divorced. That's fine. I'm happy with it. My mom is happy. So that my father is happy. It's good. I don't want to take it. I don't want to take it as a baggage and then. No, don't ask me that question. I can't do that. I just love to be like, yeah, man, okay, fine, this is what happened. So fine, let's close it here. I just want to be like a happy guy. Let's not worry about anything else.
So right now you seem to be in a really happy space. Is that because this film is happening finally, like it's releasing, the pandemic is, at least the theater shutdown is over. You're kind of kicking off the Telugu film industry's, love affair with the theaters again.
I'm actually happy for the fact that the whole industry has come forward to support a film. I'm not worried about whether it's my film or anybody's film. I'm just happy that people are coming out and saying, dude, you're doing the right thing. We are for you. We are with you. So you ask any sort of help, we are there. So that actually brought a smile on my face more than the film releasing. The kind of support that the industry is giving me, the Telugu film industry, and also from the distribution circle, and also from the exhibitor circle, the kind of support that they're giving. At the same time, the audiences, the movie lovers, and everybody are like very, very enthusiastic, and they're looking forward for the release. So that is what is actually the reason behind my smile today. And I'm really glad that that's what people are asking for, like a release in theaters. That's immense happiness for me.
So that's great news, and I hope your film puts a smile on the audience's faces as well.
I really hope so. We have done our best, and we have given our best for the film, and I really hope that it does really well. I'm looking forward for the release right now.
Right, and for those of you who will not know this, because you're going to be seeing an edited version of this interview. While we were talking, the power went off at his end. And so we had to wait some time before he could get back to the interview and kind of.
Yeah.
So if you find that he's moved position a bit or his frame is looking a little different, that's the reason. So I just wanted to kind of.
Basically, basically that thing is the question that you asked. So I think people will get the answer. With that.
Yeah, why do these things keep happening to you, right?
It's I'm really like, okay, I started laughing about it. Now it's better.
Yeah. Anyway, I hope all good things happen to you, Tej. Thank you so much for
coming. Thank you so much, Bhargav. Thank you so much. Very nice catching up with you.
Yeah. All right. Take care. Bye.
Bye.